The question is, what is the process for buying a business? Thank you for that very good question. Over the last 32 years, CBI has developed a process for our transactions that creates a specific path for buyers to follow. By following this process closely, buyers will have a logical method of inquiring about a business that interests them, then learning more about it, meeting the owner, asking good questions, making a reasonable offer, and investigating the details. Then we will help with the document creation and with the review process to make sure you have a very good understanding of the transaction while minimizing legal fees. While CBI represents only the seller, we can provide you with guidance and the benefit of our experience through closing almost 1,000 deals. So let me explain how it works. So, step one, if you see a business that interests you, please reach out by phone, email, virtual call, website, or link. We prefer to speak with you directly whenever possible, but understand that that's not always convenient. Since confidentiality is a must in business sales, you'll be asked to complete a buyer document package that includes a non-disclosure agreement and a financial snapshot. We will email this package to you, and it can be conveniently completed, signed, and returned electronically in just a few minutes. Step 2. Once we receive the completed package, we can provide additional information about the business in a phone call to see if the business is a good fit for you. If it is, you'll receive an email that invites you to a secure, password-protected data room that contains a confidential business review. That document will contain information about the company, like the name, what it does, where it's located, its history, some photographs and or videos, and some high-level financial information about the company's most recent financial performance. At this point, we want to make sure that this is a business that you would enjoy operating and that it makes sense to you. So detailed financial information is not included at this time. After all, if it's not a business you want to operate, there's no use in poring over financial data. If you'd like to pursue this business, then we move on to step 3. This step sets up a meeting between you and the seller. It can be virtual, but face-to-face is preferred whenever feasible. You will need to submit a list of questions at least 24 hours prior to the meeting, and this will help the seller prepare and will keep the meeting time productive. You will learn more about the business functions in this meeting straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. These meetings are invaluable in helping you decide if this business is right for you. If it is, we move on to step 4. In step 4, you will be filling out a form called a Contingent Letter of Intent, or CLOI. Think of this as a worksheet to help you and the seller agree on the terms of a potential sale. There's ample information in the confidential business review to help you formulate deal factors like price, down payment, and financing that are included in the first part of the document. We know, of course, that you'll want to verify that your offer makes sense, so there is also a list of standard contingencies such as examining tax returns and profit and loss statements, inventory inspections, and much, much more that are included in the worksheet. And you can add any additional contingencies you need to satisfy your questions. Once we have reached an agreement on the CLOI, the detailed financial information will be released in Step 5. Step 5 is due diligence. It begins by assembling the information outlined and requested in the CLOI into a folder and then setting up a due diligence meeting with the seller to go over its contents. A lot of questions are answered in this meeting, but we know you'll want additional time to carefully inspect the information. Using this method, we will drastically reduce the number of questions going back and forth in emails, and it makes the process quicker, more efficient, and preserves a good working relationship between the buyer and the seller. You will also be working on getting financing during this step. Please watch our other video called Loans for Biz to see how our subsidiary company by that same name can help you arrange the best possible financing terms and give you the financing choices that are simply the best available. So now on to step 6. CBI uses a closing attorney to draw up the agreements and contracts needed to close the deal. The closing attorney will draft the documents that are fair and equitable to avoid lengthy and costly negotiations. This prevents the attorney from one of the parties of the transaction from drawing up a one-sided agreement that has to be contested and argued. Once the initial document set has been checked for simple errors, we strongly encourage you to have an attorney review the documents prior to signing. The fee for the closing attorney is split between the buyer and seller, so it keeps closing costs to a minimum. Doing it this way preserves the goodwill between the buyer and seller and gets more deals across the finish line. And that leads us to the last step. Step 7 is the closing. Now, you've probably heard people say, "Oh, my deal blew up at the closing table." At CBI, that never happens, because when you sit down at the closing table, you and your attorney will have reviewed all of the documents that you will see. There are no surprises, tricks, or changes from the documents that you have already approved. In fact, the closing meeting is fun and more of a celebration of a job well done than a traditional stressful closing. Then, congratulations, you're now a business owner. I hope this video is helpful to you and that by walking through these steps of buying a business, it provides you with some peace of mind and a better understanding of what is to come. If you have questions or you'd like to know more about the CBI process, please reach out to us. We're happy to discuss it. Thank you so much for watching this video. We truly do appreciate your time.